Hi, how you doing? This is Robert with Robert and Christie Real Estate Team, providing you the latest update in regards to real estate and the COVID-19 impact. So things, as we mentioned the last couple of weeks, they've been changing almost daily and almost hourly, actually. And the latest and greatest news for the real estate industry, at least, is that real estate is considered an essential service. So with that, there's a lot of moving parts with that, but basically, where we were non-essential just a few days ago, as of this past weekend, we have become essential, which helps move the economy along. So there are certain guidelines. There's actually a lot of guidelines I'd like to go over so everybody has a clear understanding of that. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to us and ask us any questions. But even though it's an essential service, they're still encouraging everybody to do everything virtually. So that includes virtual open houses, virtual showings, things like that. If it is a requirement that a buyer does go into a property and they have to see the property, then what they're saying is that there's going to be some certain safety protocols that have to be in play. Only a single agent with no more than two people can show up into the property. And if there's multiple people, then with only one or two people in the property walking through the property at the same time, the other person should stay in the car. Sellers shouldn't be in the property at the same time as the showing, so it's going to be requested that the sellers remove themselves from the property at the time that the buyers go into the property. Any person that's entering the property, there's a new form that's out right now. It's called the declaration form of property entry. And basically, they have to fill out this form stating that to the best of their knowledge, they're not currently ill with a cold or flu, do not have a fever, persistent cough, shortness of breath, or exhibiting any COVID-19 symptoms, and have not been in contact with any person with COVID-19, and will adhere to and follow all precautions required at all times. So all that said, any persons on the property must agree to adhere strictly to the social distancing guidelines at all times and remain at least 6 feet apart per the recommendations established by the CDC. All persons visiting the property will be required to wash their hands with soap and water, or more than likely be using hand sanitizer prior to entry, wear disposable rubber gloves, wear a protective face mask if necessary or if one is made available, and wear booties. And the bottom line is they can't be touching everything. Seller or the agent will have the property available to show by having all the lights on, probably some cabinet doors open, all the bedroom doors open, bathroom doors open, things like that, so that there should be no reason why anybody touches anything. The other big portion of this is that only serious buyers are going to be allowed to go into a home. So no basically neighbors looking at their neighbors' homes or no looky-loos, that type of thing. It's going to all have to be people who are serious. And that's going to require a pre-approval letter along with a proof of funds as well to show the property, verification of funds prior appointment. By the way, these are not Robert and Christie's guidelines, although that's what we established already. However, this is from the California Association of Realtors. All the showings are by appointment only. And then I already talked about the combined property viewing advisory and declaration signed by everybody. What that means also on here is that there will be no open houses. Virtual open houses, we'll still be doing that. So you'll still see virtual open houses happening where, let's say, as a listing agent, I would go to one of our listings. The sellers would remove themselves for that short time of that thing, and I would be hosting, or somebody on our team would be hosting the open house virtually, and people can be interacting. Basically, that could be done either on a Zoom meeting, but more than likely to be Facebook Live, and people can interact with everything that's happening. Can ask questions. If they need me to, or need somebody to zoom in, let's say, on a specific area, they want to look at some things in more detail that's not available on the existing video that's out there, they can do that and ask questions and so on. Homes will be virtually staged versus physical staging. That's unfortunate for the people who are in that industry, but for right now, that's what's going to have to happen. So an example is we have a vacant house coming up on 3498 Sterling. That one will have virtually staged. This specific picture that you've seen right here is a home that we did last year, and that one is virtually staged. So you can see how that offers an appeal, so people can have an idea of what that home looks like when it's actually staged or has furniture in it versus just a vacant open house. So even if you live in the home and you are planning on moving and you have a couple rooms that are vacant, we can also take that room and virtually stage it as well. But it has to be empty for us to be able to do that. Another item that's happening while people are in escrow is that fire inspections and investigations as permitted are required by the purchase agreement or as legally mandated. So you can still do a buyer inspection, you can still do the agents can still do their visual inspections. Still, appraisers will still show up on the property. Contractors giving bids or estimates or making contractually required repairs are allowed to go into the property. Buyers, insurance inspections, obtaining government inspections, signing off on permits, putting up or removing fumigation tents, and also buyers performing their final walkthrough. All those are going to be permitted to happen in person at the property. No third party can remain unattended at the property, and for all persons entering the property, gloves and or protective gear are mandated, as we had stated earlier, and also have a declaration that is also signed declaration that they are asymptomatic. I hope this is helpful for you. So it's good news for buyers and sellers alike. So people can start going viewing properties. They're not encouraging, again, showings in person unless that person is actually very serious about the property. So as a buyer, make sure that that's like one you're seriously thinking about placing an offer on. And as a seller, this is great news. So only the serious buyers will actually be viewing the home. So that's good news as well. So we will continue to provide frequent updates on things as they happen and as they change. One of the things that I'll be providing later this week, probably in a couple of days, will be a market update. Tomorrow's April 1st, so we'll probably get some new market updated reports. So we'll run some stats on that. We'll get a couple lenders involved, find out exactly what's happening on the lender side. A lot of moving parts on the rates, a lot of moving parts on lending. So I think that's a key, going to be also a key informative session there. We're actually thinking about doing a Zoom meeting at this point in time. We're not too sure, but we'll get a couple lenders involved, or at least one lender involved, to be able to participate in that, so you can see what's happening on the lending side of things. So as you can see, things are changing every day. We do have a little bit about our listings and upcoming opportunities are right here. Again, Old Waverly is still available. It's a 4-bed, 3.5 bath, 3516 square foot pool home in Corona. Very well priced, very beautiful home, wonderful neighborhood, absolutely stunning curb appeal. That one's available. We have another one in Eastville on Hunter's Run, 13730 Hunter's Run, 3554 in Corona, in the Mountain Gate area. 342 Selkirk, a 4-bed, 2.5 bath in the Mountain Gate area of Corona. And then a new one coming on the market here in a few days. That one's on 3498 Sterling. That one is a vacant house. And then we also have some additional coming soons, and those are listed right there. If anybody has any questions about those, feel free to reach out to us and we can make arrangements to possibly show those. We do have contracts signed with them, so they're just not on the market just yet. So thank you for everybody for participating and listening to this. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out with anybody on our team, and we look forward to continually servicing everybody. Thanks so much, and have a blessed day.